Episode 5 and 6 today.
Wait, it was 5 and 6. I only watched 5.
NANI?
Do you want to just press pause on this recording and I can
If
go
you
Hey, welcome to Low Power Muttering with Jarod Bachman Stubbs.
Right, so take 2 of episode 4. Jarod has now watched both episode 5 and 6.
I have watched both episode 5 and 6.
Good.
And to add insult to injury, there's this little bag of popcorn in my room.
What kind of popcorn, first of all?
Maybe popcorn. What do you mean? What kind of popcorn? Popcorn.
Oh, there's flavored popcorn, you penis.
It's just regular popcorn.
But what? Just like plain popcorn?
Yeah. Normally I put some like flavored seasoning on it, but I was like, I'll just munch on this while I watch the episode. But my girlfriend put way too much salt on it, so now my bottom lip is like really swollen.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah.
So if I'm speaking with a lisp for the rest of the episode, you know why. But no.
A lisp. Wow, that's unfortunate.
Huh?
A limp and a lisp.
I know.
Just can't help taking those L's, can you?
Listen, I don't lose. I win or I learn. I listen. If I could consistently walk normally, and did not have a fat lip lisp from salt, and saying it just like that was a challenge to see if I. It would be unfair for the rest of you. But no, these 2 episodes were really good.
They work really well together, didn't they?
It was a great double feature.
Yeah. So glad we agreed on it last week.
I would have known if it was a good double feature. All I can do is take your word for it.
Yes, I mean that's true. Yeah.
But
right.
Yeah.
Episode 5. Rei I.
Rei 1. Episode 6. Rei II.
Or Showdown in Tokyo 3, as that second one's called.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm still so weirded out by the fact that the mid card, the mid episode title card has a different episode name.
Yeah, what they're doing, I can't remember if the original did this or not. Just to interrupt you there, but they're using both the Japanese episode names, like the episode names Netflix has, are the direct translation of the Japanese names. The title cards in the middle are the English names. So last week when I went, the Hedgehog Dilemma is an episode title. It was like my favorite one, if I had to pick one. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh no, there isn't actually one called that. It's something different. So actually the English episode name is that.
Rain After, The
translation is Rain After Running Away.
Yeah. But picking up with my notes, the Eva, it's visibly suffering when they're doing that flashback test with Rei. That was another thing that I'm like, my ears are starting to perk up with, and kind of talking about both episodes kind of together.
I mean, they work well together. So.
They work well together. Between the suffering of this angel, of this Ava, and the fact that in the 6th episode, the angel is actively targeting the Geofront. There are just a lot of revelations that have I'm starting to feel more and more confident in my assertion that the angels are an experiment gone awry.
Yeah.
We find out that there is a technological / cybernetic component to the angels.
Is that?
Well, they talk about it having a power core.
Oh yeah. It's got a core. Yeah, that's true.
It's got a power core. They're talking about all this electronic mumbo jumbo, where it's okay, so this is the angels as well are machines of a sort, but clearly are able to act autonomously because they're doing their own thing, or at least I think they're acting autonomously.
Yeah.
If it turns out that Nerve has been false flagging all of these angel attacks,
you think they send them themselves? You think Nerve's the type of company to do that? Or organization, not company, I should say.
I wouldn't put it past him. But so that has my gears turning. No pun intended there. But like again, like the angel in the 6th episode is actively targeting Geofront. It is
Ramiel, I believe it's called.
Ramiel is actively trying to attack the Geofront by drilling directly into it, and it knows where to drill to get into it. Mm-hmm. So there is some level of intelligence here, which means either the angels are being controlled or they are acting of their own accord in the campaign that they're waging here.
Yeah.
So I found that fascinating and very interested by that. I continue to be fucking infuriated with Commander Akari.
Yeah.
I really don't like this fucking guy.
But he saved Rei.
I'm glad. Where the fuck is that energy for your own kid?
Maybe Shinji done something. You don't know.
He's 14.
Maybe Shinji's like Justin Timberlake. You don't know. He's like blaming Britney Spears and all that shit.
Well, I mean, okay, yeah. Like, man, of all of my canceled favorite musicians, you surely brought up the one that nobody gives me a guff for as much as Mr. West. But
I mean, he's in the news, isn't he? So
yeah, that mugshot's so funny.
No, have you seen the meme where it's like looking in the microwave?
Yes, I've seen that, and I also saw one that said that the image of him and the one meme of Donkey from Shrek are basically the same picture.
Oh my god, it is.
But yeah, no. So that really infuriated me. Like again, I'm glad Rei had somebody to care for her. I would never want to take that away from Rei.
Yeah.
I would like to divert some of it to Shinji.
That's fair. It's totally fair.
Like, why is your own kid like quivering and horrified in the corner while you don't even look at the guy? You don't talk to the kid, you don't look at the kid. Meanwhile, you're burning the palms of your hands off to save this one. Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's deeply fucked up.
Yeah.
And
why do you think he's doing it though? There's obviously got to be a reason for it, right? Like,
there's got to be a reason for it. I don't know. I don't want it to be a weird reason.
No.
There was a part of me that was like, for a moment, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. I just think that it is cruel on a cartoonish level.
Yeah.
And I know I'm watching a cartoon, but like it is just so wildly cruel and just cold-hearted for Shinji to have to watch his father treat Rei with such deference, And again, my issue is not how deferentially he treats Rei. I think that's good. I think that if you're gonna have your army of child Gundam pilots, that they should probably get a little TLC from the adults in the room, who for some reason can't fucking pilot these things themselves, especially the man who seemingly developed this technology. But having it be so one-sided and it be your own kid who you are just so wildly absent from, having to watch you again risk life and limb for this other one, that just breaks my heart. It truly breaks my heart. Like, I don't, and again, it's going to be a tough sell to convince me that Shinji did something to deserve that. Like that.
I mean, who knows?
It's going to be a tough sell. It's going to be a tough sell. The fucking giant cross while they're excavating the corpse of that angel made my ears perk up. Predictably,
a lot of crosses.
So many crosses. I do want to say
in the back of the Unit 0 as well.
I didn't see that one.
It's literally right after it goes berserk in the room.
Okay, I was more paying attention to how the thing was moving and that it was suffering, but
So it's literally something they put in there, where the entry plug goes in. Like you only see it for like a split second, but it's just a tube with a cross on the end of it.
That makes sense. But yeah, man, the horny shit just does not work for me.
Yeah.
It never does.
Yeah.
It never does.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think it's necessarily there for horny stuff. I know it's kind of a fan servicey moment,
and I know that the joke is like, look at these like hormone ridden teens, and that like I think you could make an argument that there is a commentary happening about like, look at these teenagers that just get to be like hormone driven little fucking cretins, while these other two children have like signed their life away to the defense of the planet. Like, I can see that, and I can see the way that like that, because the one is so stark, you have to make the other one just as like fucking over the top to be like, while these children are, they're developing profound PTSD, these kids just can't stop beating their meat. And I will say, like, and again, I know it's all kind of like under the umbrella of fan service, and I've made my own opinions on that clear up to this point. It very, 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 very rarely works for me. And when it does work for me, it's normally at the cost of making fun of the horny bastard in the scene, i.e. the little grape kid from My Hero. But I will say the one instance where it did work for me very well, and it had to, and it kind of had to be built upon Shinji's like, oh my god, she's naked in the apartment. As goofy as that was,
but they don't play it off as like fan. It's not a fan service moment. Like, you actually scratch it from the surface. Like, sure, there is an element of it there.
Yeah, it's there. I just mean like Shinji's like he cannot stop pissing himself because he's in the same room as boobies and whatever, and he falls on top of her and whatnot. Like it's whatever. So like you build upon that, and then you take it into the next episode where they're both changing with the sheet separating them. And I love the way, and I think it's very beautifully framed, that moment of like this theme of like intimacy, but at an arm's length.
Yeah.
That they share,
like hedgehogs.
Like hedgehogs, that they are both like going from a quite literally their own natural state, like in the nude birthday suit shit, that they're just completely stripped bare. That in that moment you get who these two characters are at their core.
Yeah.
That in Shinji you get that I gotta fucking do it, but I don't want to. God damn it. Like, here I go, having to be a child soldier again. I fucking hate this shit. With Shinji, and the way that is juxtaposed with Rei's interpretation of the moment, of her being like, yeah, it sucks, but it's all I have.
Yeah.
And again, the fact that they are both like getting dressed, and they are in the moment where they are just literally stripped down to who they are at their core as they get into the battle pilot armor. I think is very, very beautiful and clever the way that's framed. And that was something that resonated with me, the way that they framed that moment. Also, just a testament to like the grievous injuries Rei has suffered, that like all of her laundry looks like it's fresh out of a crime scene in her apartment.
Yeah.
Just the amount of blood, for a brief moment, I thought it was, again, and that's the thing with this show, is that like there are so many complicated themes that are existing in conversation and in the aggregate with just like just really dumb adolescent humor.
Yeah.
So for a brief moment, I'm like, is this going to be some like really gross, cringe period joke? Like there was a brief moment because it looked like it was like mostly her underwear that had that like the blood on it, but then you see it's like, yeah, here's a shirt, here's a bra, like here's a pillowcase that is like clearly soaked in blood, that it is just like this poor girl cannot stop fucking bleeding.
Yeah.
Because she is so physically and obviously psychologically wounded by her service.
So this show's a bit more tactful than your average.
Oh, for sure. I like because it like especially because this happens like in the same episode. It's like, oh, her boobies, her butt, her supple thighs, like.
But they're just the normal kids, though, right?
You're right, and you're right. You're right, and I think that again, I think it's me trying to still get acclimated to the visual language and the way that not even just the visual language, but just like the mechanics of anime. That I do think that, pardon me, that the way the fan service is depicted, I do think is meant to be juxtaposed with like, here are these teenagers, like I said, living these like, hormone ridden lives versus, we have to go fight and maybe die against these terrifying creatures. I also liked, I know that I'm assuming Rei's apartment or quarters or wherever it was, that was probably like a train going by in the background, like all the metal clanging.
Yeah.
That was another thing that I picked up on that I really dig. Again, just hammering home this whole idea of like the way that their lives are forever enraptured by their service to Nerve. And again, this may not be intentional, but I like the idea that like the metal clanging in some way kind of like represents like that Rei can't get away from this shit. Like no matter where she goes, like it is just like it is the sound of metal banging against metal, no matter where she is, be it inside of the Eva or in her own home, trying to recuperate from those injuries. That she is forever followed by that.
Great way of putting it. Great way.
Thank you.
It's like the cicadas. You just can't get away from the cicadas.
You can't get away from the cicadas, and I'm very curious. I'm very curious to see if there is a symbolic representation of the cicada. I'm sure there is. I haven't quite put my finger on it yet, because my mind is still so centered on the metaphors having to do with the angels and the Evas, and obviously the Judeo-Christian stuff around that. But also just this idea of, man versus nature, technology versus nature, which again, me and my Star Wars background, technology versus nature is like a theme that like I kind of hone in on, just because of my own, because of my own background of like, let me like break down this media and put it back together. That is such an important,
it's almost like Lucas got that from the Japanese.
It's almost like George Lucas is the greatest plagiarist that Hollywood has ever seen. I say that as somebody who loves George Lucas and his doggo. The doggo clearly did not like the prequels.
No.
I don't.
No, he doesn't. He's watched them. He doesn't like them.
No, he needs to give Phantom Menace another try. I have a note in here that says, "Tell her what's up, Shinji." And I don't know what I'm fucking referring to there. It's in all caps. So I'm pretty sure Shinji popped off at some point, but I don't remember.
I assume it's got something to do with Misato, but I can't think of what that would be.
Does he kind of like pop off back at Misato at one point?
I don't think so.
I have no idea what I'm talking about there. No. The other thing, and
notes need notes.
No. My notes need notes. It's like all the way back pre-TNAP, back when we were doing Hall of Heroes, and we made Travis watch all the bad DC shows, so we didn't have to.
That's just mean.
There was
There was a lot of those.
There was a lot. There was like the back 15 minutes of the show as Travis is giving us like a mission report. There's a reason why we cut that segment. That's why if we talk about shows, the shows we're both watching. There was a ongoing bit from when he was watching Titans for us about who's Dick does flips. Dick does flips. Giving Dick does flips. So this is another interesting one. And I think it's funny you brought up the apparently the so what you said there was a cross on the Ava. Is it in the interior of the cockpit, or are you saying it's like right behind where the cockpit
it's literally where it's jacked in, where the plug the entry thing goes.
Okay, I was going to say it's crazy that I must have missed that. If it's
only like a half a second shot.
I was going to say if it were inside the cockpit, because I also made a note about what the fuck is up with the flashing in the cockpit. That I can't tell if that's a stylistic choice or if you're getting this.
Is that when Shinji gets hurt?
No, whenever it's powering down.
It's powering down.
Or maybe it's turning on or turning off. There's this like crazy light show that happens inside the cockpit.
Oh yeah. I know we know. Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Oh, I assume so. It's in the show.
Okay. Mitch, don't dick me around. Don't dick me around, Mitch.
Everything has a reason to be.
I'm sure. I'm asking, is this a stylistic
if you want
thing?
It's part of the sinking. That's all it is.
Okay, that was my question. I because I had assumed, and I kind of like had something in there about like, is this like the brain waves, like, you know, getting?
I'm pretty certain that's the intention. Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Not everything is a spoiler. You're gonna
don't know that.
Every single like little scintilla of something going on is going towards the big reveal.
I need to keep myself in check for my benefit, not for yours.
Thank you, oh noble leader.
Wow, it's the thanks I get.
You got a bit of I'm not gonna lie, you got a bit of a crowd pop out of me with the fucking flying cube. What was the name of the?
I think it's pronounced Ramiel.
Ramiel? Okay. Yeah. I saw the episode description for this episode, and I saw that, so that makes sense. I just couldn't remember how to say it. I almost said Reynal, but that was the name of Alex Jones's lawyer in the Texas case.
Yes. Is he a blue giant cube as well? Is he also like autonomous geometry?
I think a good $500 million could have been saved if he was.
No.
But that was an interesting design choice. That one definitely threw me for a loop because I'm so at this point so used to the angels we've seen being like
more eldritch horror looking.
Yeah, like it's like that eldritch horror. Like there is an anthropomorphic element to them that they have like a head, a torso, arm, and legs, and then are kind of like about it. But do have like a humanoid body shape. Yeah, at the very least. So this angel simply being this like levitating monolith. I was like, with a drill. With a drill again, cybernetic in nature, clearly. I really feel like, and I will say, cards on the table. I don't know any spoilers. I don't know anything. I did, as the episode ended, I did look up and see the episode description for the next one.
All right.
Episode 7 that just said something to the effect of like the true nature of the second impact. Yeah. Now, before I saw that, I was already feeling like we're kind of coming close to somebody having to explain what the actual fuck is going on. Yeah. So that excites me very much for next week.
You're in for a ride. Well,
so that was mostly for the first episode of this episode. It's epiception. So on to Rei II, Battle Tokyo 3. Going back to what I said earlier, hey, BBL Akari, where the fuck are you at? You deadbeat piece of shit. Where the fuck are you at? I also said, oh, holy fucking shit, whenever Shinji's Ava got right
obliterated by nothing but hot air.
Yeah, so that's all that is.
I mean, there was no beam there, right, at the start.
Yeah,
that's what. Unless it was like a tiny little, really thin laser that it just didn't animate. But
I mean, I don't get hung up on the mechanics of like energy projection based powers. So
the only reason I'd say it's a beam of hot air is because you see a beam later on, or you see several beams later on.
Yeah,
coming from the same thing. You didn't at the start here, so.
But yeah. So where the fuck are you, Commander Deadbeat?
Maybe it's got to do with the next episode.
Maybe I again, as I said before, this it's not the show is bad or the show did something badly if it doesn't give me this.
No.
But again, I need the adults in the room to fucking defend themselves.
Yeah.
I need them to try to justify to me what is happening. Because right now, I just like all these kids can say fuck it and fuck you and fuck Tokyo and fuck it all. And I would not be upset with them in the slightest. I would not be.
No.
I would not take any umbrage with these kids all saying fuck it and being like the blood of millions is on your hands. Because we're 14 and can't do this shit anymore. So just saying. So this was a moment that I was kind of interested by. And this is when my ear sense started to perk up, was again the angel making a direct assault or trying to directly trying to lay siege to Geoforce or Geofront. That
what could it mean?
Because again, I'm trying to unpack, because at no point in the first episode, if I remember correctly, that little UN council never implies that there is some type of planetary threat. Or let me rephrase that, some type of earthbound, terrestrial threat controlling the angels. And in that brief little snippet we get of the history lesson, the teacher very much implies that asteroid hits Antarctica, angels show up. So it does not sound like there is any reason to presume that there is an opposing military force actively using the angels as some type of weapon. So the angel either has to know that Nerve exists, know that Nerve is antagonistic towards the existence of the angels, knows roughly where it should be, knows about Geofront, and is equipped with a power drill that can excavate how many hundreds of thousands of miles beneath the Earth's surface to get to the Geofront. So this is a sentient being. And again, the angels come out in such a stochastic way. I can't confidently say whether or not there is an exchange of information among the angels. Like, I don't know if the first couple we see Shinji kill have like then radioed back to Angel Base, wherever the fuck that is. Because again,
I think it's called Heaven.
They are yet to even remotely attempt to be like, oh, and this is where the angels are coming from. There is no real way to be like, this is where they are, this is where they're hiding. We only know when they show up, which is another thing that I'm like, I'm not fully on the tip of these are false flags.
Yeah.
And that it's being that Nerve is starting fires for them to put out for whatever accolade or funding or whatever that Nerve and Commander Akari are seeking. I'm not quite ready to say that that's a thing.
Yeah.
But I do think it's interesting that they are able to get so much intelligence so quickly about each angel after they engage, like instantaneously.
Well, they talked about that at the start of Rei I when they're looking at the core, because they get the core right. You had that massive red thing, and they're talking about that exact thing right there.
So, like, where is it coming from?
Not where, kind of, yeah, and like how to like detect.
Oh yeah, I know they're talking about it. It's just crazy to me that like they are able to ascertain so much information about them the moment they reveal themselves, but detection somehow evades them. And like I said, I understand
Maybe
that they're
they
like
just
trying to work it out.
Maybe like Godzilla just goes, whoop, I'm here now.
Maybe. But yeah, no. So like all of those things again, plus like the way, and again, I'm so glad we did do this as a double feature and that we agreed upon that last week and totally did it as intended.
I'm glad as well. I'm also glad the pair of us are prepared.
Because there's a lot of efficient screenwriting here. Like there is like, because like people love to talk about like the economy of screenwriting with Chris Nolan, with that like, like so like in the first like 10 minutes of the movie, there is a line of dialogue that will set that will like be like, okay, we are going to keep coming back to and I know that's how fucking screenwriting works, but like there's like a very specific way that Nolan is like, here's this idea, and then we're gonna throw back to this so that can pay this off, and like, and it's more to do with plotting than with character. In this instance. But this is very efficient in that, okay, it has a core. We need to blow up the core. It's very like there is a mechanical nature to the angels. Here comes the power drill. Like there's a lot of like boom, 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 kind of looping back around to itself. Very, very efficient writing. But yeah, no, I'm very fascinated by it. I'm very much trying to figure out why the angel and how the angel is getting where it needs to go. Because again, we don't know if they're sharing information somehow. We don't know if the last angel is aware of how the one, or if the current angel is aware of how the last one was eliminated. Which then goes to another point that I think is interesting, that this angel has a environmental awareness enough to pop a cap in a target like seemingly hundreds of miles away. And knows where Geofront is and is able to dig in and weather the storm of getting through 7 layers of plating and defense. But can't tell the difference between a balloon dummy and a real Ava.
It's got no eyes.
I understand that, but it is aware that it has an adversary approaching it.
Yeah. Instinct.
That is interesting to me as to how that's working. I also
it's like a very human awareness.
It is a very human awareness. It's almost like these beings are sentient and are all being exploited.
It's almost like they're 99.8% similar.
Yeah. Yeah, which that was another thing.
You haven't brought that up, and that's very surprising.
Because I didn't know what to do with that. I had no fucking clue what to do with that. I was going to ask you before we wrapped up.
Like, you've gone on this whole thing, and you're like, the one bit I've been sitting here waiting for you to bring up and go for Alex Jones on. Is this one bit here?
Because I did what I wanted to like dedicate its own bit to it.
Oh, that's totally fair.
Here's my shit. Here's my shit. And this made no fucking sense to me. And maybe it's because I was always bad at science in high school. Maybe it's because I wasn't a science kid. I'll take that L. I was never good at science. Science teachers loved me because I was funny. Shouts out Mr. Richter. I failed your class. We talked about Prince a lot.
Nice.
Molecularly, they operate like light particles, but have a 98% similarity to human DNA and physiology. What the fuck does that mean? That makes no fucking sense. And again, not a scientific guy. Also, Star Wars is my shit. Fire and space, laser screws. Like again,
screws and bricks.
I don't give a fuck about whether or not something makes sense scientifically. I do not fucking care. None of this shit matters to me. Batman should dislocate his arm every time he uses a grappling hook. It doesn't matter to me. They have 98% similar DNA to humans, but molecularly behave like light waves? What the fuck does that mean?
It means they're angels. What do you get with angels? What's the very typical thing of an angel? It looks like a person with a lot of light behind it. Where does that light come from? The light comes from the angel.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
That's their angels.
I was so confused by that I was like, I'm going to beg Mitch to explain this to me as best he can. So
if
now
I explained it to you, there'd be no point in the show. No point in this show. So. As I said, everything's important.
Okay. Whatever.
Just know that they're similar to people, but
which again continues my hypothesis that the angels are the forerunner to the Avas, and yeah, there's if I am wrong, if
wrong about what? Let's go through it again.
If I am wrong about what? If I am somehow wrong that the Avas and the angels are not like direct corollaries to each other in some way, I will eat my fucking crock. Like I cannot wrap my brain around how they can't be connected. Like it is more the idea that the angels and the Avas are not necessarily one and the same, but are not like siblings or cousins of each other. Makes again it's not a matter of like the show's bad or it's wrong or anything like that. Like the story it's trying to tell is the story it's trying to tell. You got to meet it halfway. And I also know that the fun of this show is me trying to see if I can figure it out.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if that's not how it works, I'm going to be just dumbfounded. I truly have no idea what to make of this if that's not.
Do you know who's going to have a lot of fun with this episode right now?
Who?
So he's already struggling. It's Marv. Marv from the Facebook group is having a real struggle watching this show.
I know, because he keeps wanting to be like, oh, ha, 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 ha. And it's like, asshole, we're recording this weekly. No, you're not an asshole, Marv. You're very sweet. I enjoy your company in the Facebook group. But it's like, hey. Because, like, if we were smart, we would have recorded all of this and then released it weekly.
Do you know what? I really wanted to do that. We might do that for the next one. but it depends.
I'm okay with that.
That's if we can. We might do 2 at once for the next one and just like bank 1.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. Or hell, like while we're in the process of banking 1, we can do something that's like less labor intensive, and like we can, you know, like revisit something that like one of us is tangentially related to or related with. Like I know, like I think it would be cool, like diving into Tartakovsky Clone Wars as like its own like mini. Like I think that would be fun to kind of unpack.
Not that I've ever watched it, so it's perfect for the show.
Yo, you've not?
I've not watched it. No.
Brother.
I am the equivalent to the TASM, or the majority of TASM 2 fans. Everything I've seen about that show is on clips on Twitter. I've never seen anything the entire way through. Everything has just been little GIFs and clips on Twitter. So I have no context for half of it.
And you were asserting that most fans of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 have only seen the good parts on Twitter.
100%, yeah.
Sensational. That's his word.
I adore that. It's such a good clip.
It is sensational. Okay. The battle was incredible, and I really, really loved the moment Shinji and Rei shared. I think it was such a beautiful parallel showing him race to rescue, get in there and talking to her and being like, "Hey, man, like, can I help you smile more? Is there something you do that was gross to lift your spirits? Is there something I can do to like lift your spirit? And like when you leave, don't say farewell because it sounds so final. And like we care about you. I keep hiccuping. It's the popcorn coming back. It's like there's more to this than this. You know, that was so beautiful. And then Mitch, I needed a shower the moment that little fucking flash of his dad happened. I just didn't like the framing. It was like, I don't want to look at you right now, you fucking prick. But yeah, this is good.
Karis are just nice to Rei. Just how it is. But maybe there's a reason why Akaris are nice to Rei and Rei likes Akaris.
In conclusion,
she just thinks they're nice people.
Rei wasn't grown in a lab, was she?
Why would I answer that? If I say no, it tells you one thing. If I say yes, it tells you another. Why would I ever answer that question?
You know, I really wish
if she was grown in a lab, where'd you go from there? If pure hypothetical, I'm giving nothing away.
If Rei is, because I'm trying to be like, why does she have such a fealty? Okay, wild fucking theory.
See, you could be overthinking the simple fact that
wild theory
saved her life from
wild theory that I made that I am using very, very like circumstantial evidence for. Perhaps Commander Rikari, it was so protective of her and leapt into action because she is a creation of him alone. And to kind of lend oh God, I'm thinking way too much about this. I feel like hold on. I'm cooking. I'm going into my mind palace. Hold on. I'm going into my mind palace, Mitch. Hey, welcome to Low Power Muttering with Jarod Bachman Stubbs.
I need to make an intro for that.
Okay. Nobody can hold me accountable for ever owning up to this theory if I'm so fucking wrong.
Marv, we say nothing.
Because I'm just
made it this far. We say nothing.
I'm just cooking right now. The food might be bad, but I'm cooking. Commander Rikari is obsessed with keeping Rei safe because she is fully a product of him and his scientific genius. And with that, we jump back to the theme of playing God and this whole idea of creation, and that perhaps Rei is kind of the final step of, we use human biology, we use human physiology to create these beings with the angels and the Evas. The angels get out of control. And that is similar to like the fallen angel Lucifer type stuff, which might tie in there. Then we have like this guardian protector thing with the Evas. So like, okay, we kind of mastered this technology, but what if we can take it a step further? And then we create Rei, who seemingly has like nothing going on outside of this. Not that Shinji had a whole lot going on, but like, it's kind of weird that Commander Ikari was like, there's this one seemingly random fucking 14-year-old that we could bring into the equation. And then there's my own son. They also talk about those other batches of kids that they're bringing in. And the way they describe it kind of sounds like they're bringing them in from another facility, maybe meaning that most of the kids who are able to pilot the Evas are in some way, some type of genetic, just from scratch creation, unnatural birth. If that is the case, we then get back into another Christ analogy, where Commander Ikari is some type of like weird God figure. He's been playing God. He created his army of angels. They fell, and now he has to stand up against them. And to do so, to stand against his fallen angels, he is constantly sacrificing his children.
Maybe I'll walk out of here tomorrow and you never see me again. That's really what I want to do.
I love that. Well, that was a trip. That was definitely something.
The only response I've gotten from people about this show, from like the show we were recording, friends of mine have been watching, like Levi, former Nerd Academy contributor, watched it. And he said to me what a handful of other people have said. And they're like, you said yourself, like, your theories are interesting.
Yeah. Have they seen the show?
Levi?
Yeah, as in like, have they watched Neon Genesis?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
He's my weeb shit Yoda that I talked about in episode 0. Like I'm doing backflips in the swamp with him. And much like Luke Skywalker, who never finished his training on Dagobah, I have not finished Code Geass. Levi's gonna like that one. But yeah, no. We joked about it. I think we just had my first actual psychotic break on the show.
Nice.
I think I'm not necessarily going to say I'm going to stand by that theory.
No.
But there's vibes there that feel right.
And like, you got all that from what?
What did I get that from? I don't know, man. I kind of go into
so much he's forgotten like 2
minutes. I kind of go into a flow state with this shit.
It looked like it.
Mitch has never watched that happen live.
No, before. I haven't. That was just someone have like a seizure or something. You're not sure what to do. Should you be concerned? It's not a normal thing people do.
Yeah, you see, when Mitch and I record things and I give my predictions on shows and movies, he's watching me explain a thought I had before recording.
Yeah.
He's never watched a switched flip in my head in real time.
No.
And because here's my thing, it's equal parts me using the conspiracy pilled part of my brain for good. And
so the majority of your brain.
And me, shut the fuck up. And me taking like the part of my brain that is just constantly horny for themes and motifs. And then those moments where those two things collide into each other. And I'm like, if I'm right, this theme is so juicy. And I just like completely start to deteriorate. But yeah, Levi made fun of me because he said that, again, former Nerd Academy contributor Mike Doling, who is a walking stream of consciousness, unhinged from reality, but we love him for it. What I said in, I think, episode 0 or episode 1, where I was like, the angels are, I think I said the angels are, the Avas are Jesus Christ, I think. He was like, that's the most Mike Doling shit I've ever heard. And it's not getting any better. It's not getting any better. But yeah, I think that's all I have for you this week, bud. Hashtag low power muttering, everybody.
Yeah. It just keeps coming back around. And it's going to keep coming back around. I can tell you that. I will give you that. It will keep just coming back around. Wait till you get to later on. Who knows? It might even be next week. Who knows?
Oh, I am ready for next week to be a bombshell.
What happened? What is Second Impact? What actually happened?
What actually happened? I think also the episode title is like man's work or something like that. So that's another.
I'm just going to look it up, actually. What want to be on 7?
Yeah.
A human work.
A human work. That's it. But yeah.
A human work. So yeah, tune in for that one next week. Yeah, as always, follow Jarod at TNAP. Linktree on the screen. All the stuff. All the trivias. All the
Nerd Academy Podcast, baby.
Oh yeah. Subscribe, like, comment, do the good stuff. And we'll catch you on next week. So, bye.
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 Bye. Oh, fuck, that's me.
Peace. It's 2 weeks in a row. Hey guys, thanks for watching or listening. You know, whatever flavor you prefer. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the good stuff so you don't miss an episode. And of course, leave a comment. You know, tell us what you thought about this episode of Neon Genesis. You know, if you watched it before or you haven't, I generally love to hear what people think about this show. If you're following along with us, that's great. If not, and you watched it before, you know, tell us what you think about this one specific episode in particular, because we are trying to keep Jarod spoiler free as much as possible. And yeah, you know, any help is greatly appreciated for this little channel project we're working on here, you know, trying to build this up. And of course, we can't do that without you guys. So yeah, any help is greatly appreciated, and we'll catch you all for the next one. So take care.